Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Andy Nguyen, and today we're looking at the KeebsForAll Coarse60. This is an aluminum hotswap Alice layout Leafspring plate keyboard for $210. No way, no how. Let's get into it. Alright, straight from the jump, I need to tell you that this is not full aluminum. Has the aluminum top, nice little beautiful E-white, but the back is acrylic. In terms of the pricing, 210 in GB, we gotta compare with the Switch Couture Alice as well as the MJ Standard. The Switch Couture Alice sits at $220 with the elevated feet, and the MJ Standard sits at $200. I know all you care about is the comparisons. Well, the Switch Couture Alice is a sandwich mount keyboard. It's fully acrylic, so it sounds pretty deep. The MJ Standard is a top mount keyboard, and it's a little bit heavier being aluminum. Coarse60 has a rectangular footprint and a leaf spring plate, so that makes it a little bit different. Is it clacky? Is it thocky? I think it's right in the middle. It doesn't really lean towards one type of sound. Out of the three, this will be the most flexible in my opinion. Now, which is the best boils down to preference. They all look different, they all have different mounting styles, they all feel different. I think the cheapest option of the three would be the Switch Couture Alice without the elevated feet, giving you a board that only costs $200 and is not within a group buy, so you can get it a little bit faster. In terms of construction, the acrylic bottom isn't the best fit and finish. There is a gap along the edge, not my favorite, as well as the screws. The screws are exposed and rise above the acrylic a little bit. I did ask about whether or not they could be countersunk. The designer says you can't really countersink acrylic or else it'll crack, so that makes sense. In terms of the assembly of the leaf spring plate, there's only 4 mounting points, and that makes it really easy to install, and I love it. In terms of the look, the acrylic bottom has some underglow peeking, so it makes it very interesting. Unfortunately, that underglow is not visible from the top. Eye line, I can't see it. The top of the case kind of blocks the underglow. The side pops out a little bit because there's a little bit of a cutout. I think the PCB could probably use a little bit more LEDs to really make it pop. The case does look like it has compatibility with other PCBs as long as they're bottom mount USB, so perhaps use another PCB with more LEDs on the bottom to give you a better glow. And in terms of the aesthetic, this is a squared off look, so some people may not like it. It may look bulky. In terms of sound, my main concern was the fact that there were some north facing switches for compatibility of the hotswap PCB. The backspace is an example of one of these. Normally with north-facing switches, it typically has some kind of issue with chair profile keycaps. I'm happy to report that here, there's no issue. Hit the backspace, it's a clean sound, there's no keycap interfering with the switch itself. In terms of the sound of the board, it sounds very clean with JWK switches. These are the Dogikons, which are JWK V2s, and it doesn't sound hollow at all thanks to the acrylic bottom, thanks to the case design. Because of all the flex from the leaf spring plate, you can hear it. That sound makes it feel cheap, and hopefully that's fixed by the production run. Other than the PCB possibly conflicting with the bottom acrylic, for a $210 group buy board, I think this is pretty good. It sounds pretty clean, it sounds clacky, it doesn't sound muddy, too deep or thocky like some boards may end up. I'll let you listen to the sound test so you can decide for yourself. The main draw of this board right here, the Coarse60, is definitely the feel. This board's flex is crazy. When you press down, you can see the entire assembly go into the case, which unfortunately, like I mentioned in the sound section, means that the PCB can collide with the bottom case. That's very frustrating because it really pulls away from the experience. It makes me feel like it's cheaper. I'm not very strong. I use 65-gram springs, and I'm able to bottom out. This can possibly be remedied if you use PCB foam, which will reduce the flex and make it sound like PCB foam. So at least there's an option there. I did send this feedback back to KeebsForAll to tell the designer, and perhaps they can fix this by the production run. So what are my final thoughts on this board? I think the keyboard is very fun. The leaf spring plate is implemented properly, and you can feel the flex and the bounciness when you type. The Dogikons here sounded amazing, but at the end of the day, my main complaint is the fact that you can bottom out pretty easily into the bottom case. If they can fix that in the production run, I definitely think this is a banger. I love seeing more affordable options in this space just because there's more new people coming in. For the price of $210, it's really hard to compare this with the more expensive GBs. Some people might ask, what do you think about this versus the Yeti? The Yeti was almost twice the price and different construction, mounting, everything. In terms of the sound, I think the sound is comparable between the two. The Yeti, of course, I'll lean towards that. But here, as long as you don't thud into the bottom case, the sound is crispy and clean. I love it. Overall, I think this board is a good option if you know you like Alice layouts and are willing to wait for a group buy. If you're just wanting to test it out, I don't know about entering a group buy just to figure out if you like it or not. I would rather buy something in stock or in the secondhand market to try to test it out earlier. It would suck to wait 6 months to a year for a group buy and end up realizing that you don't even like the board. But that's it. That's a Core 60. I think it's really fun to type on. The sound is pretty crispy. There's some things that they could fix and hopefully they will do by the production run. But let me know what you think about this board in the comment section below. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.